this time last year I made a massive HobbyCraft order and it came through in the biggest box. I remember it took me hours and hours to film that. I will leave that whole haul down below because a few things are similar this year. I have to say I wasn't crazy about the range that HobbyCraft had in for Halloween, but I still managed to order a nice box worth of stuff. I did actually go into HobbyCraft while I was doing a Halloween search to see if anything had come out yet, and these things came out around the end of August. I did actually get these through the post almost a week ago now, and when I did go in person I found an empty aisle which had pieces of paper which told the people where to put the Halloween stuff, but the Halloween stuff wasn't out, so I was pretty excited to find this all online. I can see on the Halloween Facebook page, which I help admin, which I will also link down below, things are fully in store now and you can get Halloween fabric, etc. But these were the main things which I saw which I wanted. I've been waiting to film this and then I can disperse these around and start decorating them and etc, etc. I'm just going to show you the things I got because they're so cute. So I'm going to start off with these. Now the whole reason this came in such a big box was because of these tiny little glass bottles. All over the box it says like danger, glass, caution, be careful. And it's because of these little glass potion bottles. So it is by HobbyCraft themselves. It is a 6-pack of these potion bottles and I wasn't expecting them to be this varying in size. I think I expected them all to be around this size, so I was very pleasantly surprised to see all these different sizes. As you can see I haven't opened them at all, but I've been dying to hang these on my tree. Since now you've seen the lovely packaging they came in, I can open it up and show you what these things are like. So each bottle has a different sticker. This one says tonic on it and it has a little spider with a web. It is a clear bottle and corks do actually pop off, so you could fill these with things if you wanted to. If any of you did watch my room tour, you will have seen that I have these bottles on the top of my window. This bottle is meant to be a powder bottle, so I filled it with talcum powder, and then obviously the gas one I just left empty, but with all the different roots and herbs and things, I found things out the garden and I just made them look slightly more realistic. So I may do the same thing with these bottles and fill them up with various different things. They do actually have strings attached to them, so if you want to you could just unknot this piece of string from the cork and have these sitting on a shelf or on top of a window like I have, but I'm going to keep them because these strings are perfect just to tie a knot at the end and hang them on my spooky Halloween Christmas tree. I would say though, if you're planning to hang these around the house and you're going to be filling these especially with a liquid, I would just glue this cork in just to make sure it doesn't like pop out and you don't cover your whole room in disgusting bits of plant or a liquid which could potentially stain anything. So as a size contrast, the next one is really tiny compared to the other one, and this one has a skull and crossbones on it. It has little bats in the background and it says Halloween. Again, it has like a fully removable cork and a little black string so I can attach this to my tree. And then we've got an almost sort of like middle-sized one, and this one has another skull and crossbones on and it says beware with an exclamation mark. I have also noticed in the packet there was this little like bit of plastic which was kind of keeping them nice and safe. I know that they have a little bit of added support in there. And then we have this one which is even bigger and it has a witch's hat and some stars at the top which says Witch's Brew. Now although this is obviously quite big, it doesn't actually feel that heavy, so I still feel like these will be appropriate to hang off of a tree. I don't feel like it would weigh down the branches too much. It obviously does have some weight to it, but it's not quite like as heavy as I expected them to be. And then this one is potentially one of my favourite ones. Again, it's another sort of middle-sized one and it has a pumpkin on it, 4 little bats, and it says boo. And these stickers are just like paper stickers, so they potentially would rub off if you were like to scratch them and make them wet, etc. So if you did just want lots of different size potion bottles, you could scratch off the stickers and put your own ones on there. But then also on the flip side, I would say these are probably not like appropriate to like wash or scrub too much. They're definitely more of like a display piece. And then last of all, there is this really thin little bottle. It's very tall and it's the kind of bottle that I feel would fall over like a million times if you just had this sat on like a shelf or something. But it has a cat. It seems to have some like little ravens or crows flying at the top and it says spooky across it. But I'm really pleased with these 6 different bottles. As I did mention, they are actually glass, so these will break if you drop them or you mistreat them at all. But I'm very excited to put them on my Halloween tree, which is up all year round, obviously. I think I'm going to put them on empty and then I may go back and fill them with something at a later date. I did get a few little discounts on these items, so the price that I paid for the potion bottles was £1.70, but I'm pretty sure online they are listed for £2. So next up I got these, and these are called glitter foam pumpkins. Now I did get these purely for like crafting reasons. Around this time I do tend to sort of stock up on various different little crafty things which I can use like at a later date throughout the year. Last year I bought all these little paper mache pumpkins. We did actually use in my like 5 Halloween DIY craft video, but I thought I'd get some of these. I still do have a couple of the paper mache pumpkins left, so I didn't need to stock up on those this year. But again, like the other ones, there is 6 in this pack. It is pretty much just a wooden stick with a little polystyrene pumpkin on the top. Now they are very, very simplistic. This one is on a little bit of a wonk, but the other ones are a little bit straighter. But I think these are mainly for using within maybe like floral crafts. I feel like these would fit in quite nicely in like a bouquet of flowers, potentially because they are on a stick and they are like fully glued onto the stick. You could like push them down into maybe like a pot plant. I mean, I do have my cactuses and things in the windows which are full of little toadstools, so I guess I could plonk in a few little pumpkins as well. Now the actual bit of dowel that it's on is very thin, so you could very easily snap this if you did want it to be slightly smaller. What I thought I may do is just literally cut it off at the pumpkin, because I have got a few kind of spooky house projects where I need some pumpkins to go outside. So I thought these may be kind of like a multi-purpose use thing. Now I have to say I have been touching these and I am not too covered in glitter, which I'm very pleased with. Sometimes with these items glitter goes everywhere and you just end up covered with them when you just literally look at them. But I have been handling these and as you can see there is hardly any glitter on my fingers, so I'm pleased with that, because finding glitter all over the place is not my favourite thing to do. Now I also paid £1.70 for these glitter pumpkins. So again, I think that on the site those were around £2. So next up is maybe my favourite item which I got this year. When I got it, it was like fully bubble wrapped, so I have actually opened it so that you can see it, because there was just this bubble wrap everywhere. But it is a paint your own haunted house. Now I do really enjoy these paint your own crafts. I know that they are more aimed at children and you'd probably find them in more like the kiddie section of the shop if you're buying these in the shop. I feel like it is a really nice like simple base to work upon, and then you can build it up and make it look a bit more spooky and a little bit like less childish as such. And previously I've bought like one of their ceramic pumpkins and things to paint, but never have I ever seen a haunted house version, so I had to get it. I'm going to show you the packaging first before I take it out. On the packaging itself, it does say that you can use an LED tea light, so I'm not sure if perhaps this won't like withstand proper heat if you do use it as a candle holder, but honestly I don't really usually put candles in my candle holders, I just have them as like display things. Now this is their suggested way of painting it. Of course they do only give you like a few colours to work with, so it's not really a surprise that it looks like it's so cartoony. But I think I'm going to try and aim for a slightly more realistic look to this one, but I do quite like that orange and black combo. I don't think I will be painting mine orange and black because I'm going to try and stick with more like an Addams Family look to this haunted house, but it's a nice little idea, and as you can see it can really easily be translated into like a really nice little kids craft. So as I said, this did come like fully bubble wrapped, like the whole of this was so bubble wrapped I couldn't even see what was inside it. I'm not sure if they're like that in store. I think it may have just been because they were shipping it, but it is quite like a heavy and substantial piece. Not that I'm going to be using these paints, I'm going to be using an acrylic paint, but if you are planning to do this as like a kid's craft, or you just want to buy the pack without anything else, it does come with 6 different colours, which is pretty good. They usually only give you 3 colours, so you've got black, white, green, red, yellow and blue, and of course as some of these are primary colours you can mix them together and make a whole rainbow of different shades. And then it does also come with this tiny little paintbrush. Paintbrushes that you get in these sets are usually not that fantastic, to be honest. I mean, it feels pretty nice, but already I can see that the bristles are coming out a little bit. Not a very good like brush for detail. It's definitely going to make quite like a messy line when you're painting. So I would say if you are planning to do this as a craft with children, maybe pick up some cheap paintbrushes as well, just because this is just going to get you nowhere. The only other option really that you could do is get some scissors and trim it into more of a workable shape, but at the end of the day paintbrushes can be pretty cheap, so it's probably better just to pay, you know, £2 and get a pack of 7 different paintbrushes. Like I said, I'm going to be using an acrylic paint on here. It's a white base, which means it's going to be really easy to paint on. When you're painting on other colours it can cause some problems, but because this is all in this matte white, I feel like it's going to be very easy. Now that I've got it out, I can see that there are loads more details on here which I didn't even notice when it was actually in the box. So on the top it does have this tower. There is texturing on the roof to make it look like little roof tiles, so hopefully when you paint this you'll still be able to see this detail, although I'm hoping to put a few different kind of shades in here to make it look a bit more realistic. It does have this kind of cutout window, and the windows do actually line up. They are the same on the back. Now something which I'm noticing is right in my top window here there is a little bit of clay that's been stuck in there. It looks like what they've done is it's gone through a machine and they've punched out these shapes and the shape has just got lodged in there. Now I'm not too worried because I think I'm going to try and make that into a little ghost looking through the window. It's just something to let you know if you're looking for these. Again, you can see here they haven't fully been punched out. If you are picking up one of these in the shops, just make sure that you get one which has like fully been cut out, unless you too want lots of little ghosts looking through your windows. So as you go down it does have another set of windows, although these ones are like moulded in there rather than cut out, so again you could possibly draw something in there, which is where like a fine little paintbrush will be way more useful if you're trying to do little details like that. And these windows continue all the way around that central part of the house. And then going on to the front, you have these two more classic house shapes, and they're sort of going off at a bit of an angle. It does kind of give me a sort of Tim Burton feel to it, especially because they are wonky. There is a little door here which has 2 windows. There's little steps that lead up to the door, and then round here it seems like there's kind of like a grassy bank. Again, you've just got some sort of moulded in windows which are a little bit more detailed than the other ones, and 4 here, and then you've got a few cut out ones and a circle cut out one. Now on the top of these 2 houses, again there's lots of detail for the little roof tiles, which I really like. I didn't notice any of this while it was in the packet. And then you have this tiny little bit shooting out to the side, again with the cut out windows, a little circle one at the top and a textured roof. And then on this side, as you can see, there's more windows. They've even gone into the effort of putting like textured brickwork around the bottom of that part of the house. And then right on the back there are windows as well still there, so it is like a full 3D like effect of a house. And it has this cutout section which would be perfect for putting a tea light in, although as stated it says put an LED tea light in, so I'm not sure how well this would withstand the heat. I may have to do a little bit of googling and see what potential issues may occur if I did put a proper flame tea light in here. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm super excited to start decorating this. I feel like it's going to look awesome when it's done. I may end up going back and getting another one just because I didn't realise quite how detailed these were, and it seems like almost a shame that these are like in the kids section, because of course they're just going to be like smothered with paint and you'll lose all those really fine details. So I'm going to try really hard to kind of bring those little details out. So it says that this kit cost £3.40, so again I imagine this was probably around £4 online. I definitely think that is an amazing price for the actual like quality of it. It is really nicely made. There's no chips or anything. As I said, the only little slight issues is the windows not fully being cut out, but that's just me being a little bit picky, because as I said, these are actually meant for kids. But for £4 I'm very pleased with that, and I'm very excited to paint this. And if any of you are interested, I could potentially make a video of how I ended up decorating this. Now the next couple of things I did hear about around the beginning of August. So these are like the very beginnings of Halloween coming through into the UK. And I did actually get these in the sale as well. So I got these 2 rolls of duct tape. They did come with like a bit of paper here which told you about it, but I did fully take the packaging off of this one because I have used it already, and I was in the process of unpackaging this one. I do actually have some more of this tape which I got a few years ago. I can see it from here, let me get it. The one I got a few years ago is in this kind of camo design, and it has various different little skull and crossbones around it. Now I did get this as a Christmas present, but it is made by the exact same brand as these ones, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was originally from HobbyCraft as well. But I picked up these two different rolls. Now, I don't really use duct tape on a very frequent basis, but the reason I got these is because I'm continuously sending off packages to people, and I thought it'd be quite nice if after I've done like the main sellotaping and packing of it, I can just put a line of either like pumpkin tape or bat tape. So the pumpkin tape is in this sort of cream colour, and it does have various different sized orange pumpkins on it. Now, this is duct tape, which is of course a play on the duct tape, but it is fully waterproof. As you can see, it's a pretty strong tape. It is quite difficult to like unravel, but when it is unraveled, it is very thick and very sticky. This kind of tape is actually like waterproof, so you can use it outside, and it will pretty much stick anything to anything. I did actually use some of this tape earlier to stick some fabric together at the back, just because it looked really messy. It is a pretty all-purpose tape. It's very thick and durable, and as you can hopefully see, it is made by the brand Duct Tape. And then the other one, which I haven't actually fully opened yet, but it is the same thickness and quality, etc., is this one. It's more of like a grey green background, and it has these little purple and grey bats all over it and little bits of twigs. Now, although this is covered in bats, I'd probably say the pumpkin one is my favourite, but I just couldn't turn this down because of how cute the little bats were. And also the bats do have different facial expressions. Some of them have their mouth open, some of them are smiling with their little fangs pointing out. So I thought I might as well pick this one up too, since I'm sure I can always find a purpose for some bat duct tape. The other strange thing as well is that I actually got these in the sale, so I'm not sure if they were left over from last year. I know that they do also do a sugar skull one and various different prints, but these were in the sale. So this one cost me £3 and this one cost me £4. I have no idea why one was more expensive than the other, because there is exactly the same amount on both of these rolls. But hopefully if there are any of these left over after Halloween, they will reduce them even further and we can get them at an even cheaper price. So the last thing which I got from HobbyCraft, I wasn't actually like too hyped about when I originally saw it. I thought it was pretty cool, but I expected it to be about this big, so I wasn't really prepared to pay the £3.40 for it. But it wasn't until I actually saw this like on someone's haul photo that I realised how big it was and how much I needed it. Although I say every single year I don't have any space for any more plaques or any more hanging things, but I always find the space, so it's fine. So I got this wooden hangy plaque wind chime sort of wooden thing. I'm not really sure what you'd call it. In fact, they call it a MDF Happy Halloween sign. So there you go, it says Happy Halloween there. It is made of MDF, which is kind of like a mixture between almost like wood and cardboard, but it is quite nice and thick. It doesn't have much of a bend to it, so it does feel pretty solid. It has a little hanging bit at the top, and then hanging from it, it has three shapes. So you have a spooky looking bat, a little ghost shape, and also a pumpkin shape. As you can see, it is completely plain. It's kind of almost nondescript. Now I feel like you probably could put this up in a very minimalistic house. I know some houses are kind of themed in wood colours, and I think it would fit in very nicely, especially for the fact that like the string that they've used is again in this kind of like browny colour. But alas, I'm not going to be leaving it like this. What I'm either going to do is I'm going to try and decoupage it with different kind of papers and things, give it almost like a collagey Halloween look, or I'm gonna paint it. I haven't decided yet, but after I saw how big it was and then those kind of creative flares started bubbling up inside me, I just had to get it. So again, I may end up featuring this in another kind of DIY video to see what I did with it. If not, I definitely will be posting photos of it on Instagram. That's everything that I got from HobbyCraft. It doesn't actually say on there how much the postage was, but I'm pretty sure I got like standard delivery, so it would probably be around £2.99 or £3.99, and it did get here within about a week of ordering it. I remember last year it did take slightly longer to get here, but I'm not sure if that's because last year I made like a massive order, whereas this year I was a slight bit more reserved. Now I did also want to remind you guys that I do have an Instagram account, and I do link everything down in the description below so you can find it really easily. But I'm always updating my Instagram with various different pictures and things, so when you see items like this in my hauls, I do often give like updates as to like what happened to them and how I decorated them, etc. So if you are especially like interested in my DIY and like my drawings, etc., go and find my Instagram. Saying that, I know a lot of you don't have Instagram. I have finally taken the time to set up my Facebook page properly, so I will also leave my Facebook page down in the description if you want to go over there and give it a like. Promise I am working really hard to remember to post on my Facebook as well as my Instagram, but it's a work in progress, so stick with me on that one. So thank you for watching. I hope you're feeling spooky in September. If you do have any questions or comments, please do leave them below. If it's sunny where you are, I hope you're enjoying the shade, and I'll see you next time.